Faye is going to be presenting to us, sharing with us the Clockhouse Greenland journey about using AAC and powered AAC. It is amazing in terms of the children's journey, but also the staff as well. And Faye presented at the Communication Works recently, and we had lots of really positive feedback and everyone found it really helpful. So we thought we'll run this again, and it's recorded so lots of people can access it. So over to you, Faye.
Okay, I'll move over to my PowerPoint. Let me know if you can see it okay. Is that all good? You can all see it?
Yes, all good.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, so I'm going to go through a bit through who we are at first, our AAC journey, and the staff training, the impact, and then success stories, challenges, and our future as well. So who are we? As Jenny said, I'm Faye Howlett from Clockhouse Primary School. I work in our provision called Greenland. Greenland is just for children who have an ASD diagnosis. Some of them also have other diagnoses alongside, but they all have to have an ASD diagnosis. And we've got 20 pupils currently, and that's where we kind of max out. That is our maximum number. So our curriculum is made up of 3 different pathways: our informal, which is our explorers, semi-formal, who are our adventurers, and our semi-formal challenge, who are our navigators. And kind of the overarching kind of need that what we see is communication and interaction. So regardless of the pathway that the children are on, communication and interaction is all really important for all of the children. Yeah, so that's me in kind of the context of who we are. So our AAC journey started 3 years ago. So one pupil was referred by our speech and language therapist, and then CENMAC came in to assess that pupil. And it was decided that Grid was going to be the best kind of software for that pupil to support her communication. She had some verbal communication, but it was quite limited, and she would get quite frustrated if we didn't understand her. So using Grid has been really good to expand her vocabulary and reduce that frustration. We've now currently got 5 children using Grid, and we've recently received 2 modelling devices, which has had a really big impact, which I'll say more about later. And on top of that, we've got 3 children to be assessed next week. So the number is rapidly growing, and that's due to really other children receiving their devices and having the modelling devices. You kind of suddenly see it's unlocked what other children can do. But yeah, so it's very positive. In Greenland, we have a total communication approach. That means we use absolutely everything: objects, gestures, signing, vocalization, symbols, pictures, low-tech AAC and high-tech AAC. And we have it absolutely everywhere, and every member of staff uses all of those. In terms of signing, no one is a qualified signer, but we learn what we need. So if a child shows a preference for signing, then we will learn signs that are relevant to them. We know a lot of food and a lot of actions, because that's what a lot of our children like. And on that point, every pupil's journey has been completely unique. We had a child who previously used PECs, and then he used communication boards, then he used Sign for a while, and now he has his high-tech AAC device using Grid, and he's absolutely flying with it. Where we have others that go from straight from low-tech to high-tech, so it's been different for absolutely everyone. And as I said, we do have some children. We have about 3 that have some words, some verbal words, and then they also use their high-tech AAC. So I think that's normally a concern of parents, that if they get a high-tech AAC, then it's going to take that opportunity to be verbal away, and actually the children have proved that wrong. It just increases their vocabulary, their verbal vocabulary, if anything. So that's kind of our journey in a snapshot. And within Greenland, we start the children over to the, if you can see my mouse, over to the left. We use 2 to a page symbols. This is low-tech AAC. And we start with this to reduce any kind of visual barrier. We want to see if they'll engage with symbols at first. So cars are really motivating. So we normally start with an object and then a verb, and normally it would be more. So it might be bubbles, it might be car, it could be absolutely anything, and it will be personalised to that child and what their preferences are. And then eventually, if they are engaging with this 2 to a page symbol, we'll move up to this second one. So this is an activity. So this is a board taken from our sensory room. And again, we have lots of actions. And on this one, we have one object. And then we also start to build in people. So on some of our communication boards that you'll see later, we have adults, we might have the children, to really extend kind of what they're communicating for or who they're communicating for. And then this, the third picture, is a new thing that we've introduced this year. These are our low-tech communication folders. So this is a step towards going high-tech. So it's to bridge that gap, and actually it's really helped in terms of staff being able to access a communication board across the whole school. So you could be outside, you could be in the sensory room, you could be walking over to Key Stage 1 and you've got it with you. I've got 2 here. So I've got one with a screenshot of, I hope you can see it. One, oh no, hold on, let me, if I stop sharing. Can you see me now? Yeah. Great, thank you. So on this one, we've got a screenshot of the grid homepage. So again, it's to build towards using a high-tech AAC. And then this is one of my adults, and we encourage all of the adults to personalise their low-tech AAC folder to the group that they're working with. So if they're working with a group who are all working with the 2 to a page, then they will have those in their folder. So really personalised to who you're working with. And then so on that one's the screenshot, and then on this one we've also got a core board, and I'll explain a bit more later that we've started teaching these specifically in sessions in the afternoon as part of our core word curriculum. So again, we're going through these week by week, so eventually the children should understand all of these, and then yeah, they're all personalised. So we've got all different types of communication boards in here to suit the group that you're with. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, so just shout out if you can see it again. That would be great. Can you see it? I'll take the silence as yes.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thanks very much. And then, yeah, so that is our step that's leading up to a high-tech AAC, which you can see on the right. And at the moment, all of our children are using Grid, and we found it, yeah, it's worked for all of them really. And they're all on Supercore 50, so they've all got the one that looks like this with 50 buttons on each page. And we've got one pupil who in the last 2 weeks has shown some engagement with Supercore 30. And yeah, we'll continue to kind of roll with that. And so this is probably the best bit. This is one of our children who joined us last year. So a week after joining us, he started to show engagement with 2 symbols to a page.
Ready? Bubbles! Clever boy, Bones! Yeah.
So yeah, that was 1 week after joining us, and then this is last week.
Show us. What do you want? Snack.
So as you can see there, the pupil navigated himself through the folder, the low-tech AAC. He was given his snack and he didn't like it. So he led me over to the low-tech AAC folder and he asked for more snack. And then the next video that I'm going to show you.
Ready? Show us. What do you want? Bubbles!
Twice. There we go. So in this next video, I've taken him to the room where the snacks are, and then I used the high-tech AAC device because he's been showing interest in it.
Biscuit. Chocolate.
Chocolate. Good boy. Chocolate.
So I selected biscuit on there, but he wasn't wrong. He then chose chocolate. So yeah, he had his chocolate biscuit. So as you can see there, the children aren't limited to just using one form of communication. If they have a high-tech AAC device and use a low-tech AAC device throughout the day, that's fine, you still honour it. And it's great that they're generalising, that they know that all of these things are aids to help them communicate. Right, and we'll go on to another one. So this is one of our other pupils. This is about a year after being with us. This pupil previously used objects to communicate, so he would tap or give us what he would like or lead us to something. And this first video is the first time he'd ever engaged with a low-tech AAC device.
More.
More! Good boy, Dylan.
Whoa! Whoa!
More! Good job! As you can see there, all of the adults are very excited when any of the children engage with their communication boards. And this video on the right is about a month ago now. So we've built it up so this child is using more symbols on a page.
Good boy. Tickle. Yay! Yay! Good boy. You can have lots of tickles. You can have lots of tickles. You can have lots of tickles. Yeah, good job. Tickle. Tickle.
Yep, so as you can see there, he's really building that understanding of the symbols mean something. If he clicks them, then
What would you like?
if he clicks them, then he receives something back. This is one of our other pupils. She started with us about 2 years ago now. At first, when she joined us, she had some verbal vocabulary, but she was quite resistant to use it. Communicating with adults wasn't very motivating. So we had to really build in that engagement, finding adults exciting, finding just engaging with anybody else in the room very exciting. And this is one of our adults working with her using a low-tech AAC for a play session.
What would you like? A car. Would you like a red car or a yellow car? Yellow car. Yellow car. Good girl. Ready, steady, push. Stop. Push. Stop. Push, 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 push. Stop. Ready, steady. Go. Good job. What would you like? Ramp, ramp. What would you like? Car. Would you like a white car or a blue car? White car. A white car. Ready. Push, 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 push. Stop. Push, 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 push. Stop. Stop. Push, 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 push. Stop. Push, 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 push. Stop. Ready, steady, go! Good job! Well done.
So as you can see, that pupil is able to communicate verbally, but communication, low-tech communication aids really just support her vocabulary and her understanding when she's interacting with others. And this video on the right that I'm about to show you is about a month ago. So this pupil now, when she first received her device, she did a lot of exploring. She loves kind of the cause and effect of using high-tech AAC, so she likes to listen to the words, she likes to look at the pictures, so she did a lot of exploring, which really helped her to kind of learn to navigate through the different folders. She's now at the point, which you'll see in this video, that she will hear what an adult says out loud and she asks them to type it so she can see it, which it's just incredible. It's really expanded her vocabulary, verbal and on an AAC.
Digger. Whoa. It's a rocket. Rocket. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Go! Whoosh! Whoosh! Oh, should we do it again? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Whoosh!
Oh, we're done.
Blast off!
Blast off.
I need help.
I need help to spell it.
Nice, I need help to spell it. Oh. Space.
Stop.
Oh.
Blast off.
Blast off!
Offense. Blast offense.
As soon as you can see there, she heard that I said blast off, and then she was curious and wanted to see it, and she's very good at recalling that. I know that was a lot of videos, but it is the best bit, I'm sure you'd agree. So staff training, it's kind of something we continue to work on. It always will be, especially as more children get the devices. So when CENMAC first introduced Grid to us, CENMAC provided group staff training. So that was kind of general, how do you use Grid, how do you make edits, kind of good practice around Grid, and then personalised to the children. So how could we use it with the first people that who received a device, and then we've gone on from there. In addition to that, Smartbox on their website have got a lot of tutorials that are accessible all of the time, so we always signpost people to those. Social media has been a great one, such as like Instagram. So I've seen myself that some speech and language therapists upload to the Grid Explorer, so it kind of expands what's on there, just not just the communication, the aid centre part, but you can have someone's uploaded different Julia Donaldson books and have uploaded buttons specifically for that. So the possibilities are endless, which social media is always great for, because people are always using it in a different way. And additionally to that, staff have been taking modelling devices home just to explore it, because I think it just takes a little bit of time to get used to it, like anything, like any technology. Sometimes just doing it on your own, like at your own pace, you can just learn it yourself, you can make notes, and that's been really helpful. And then on top of that, utilising each other's experiences and expertise. Some people find it really easy and will learn certain words because certain children will use certain words, and others will learn others. So it's just about talking to each other, and we often are helping each other out, like, do you know where this word is? Do you know where that one is? So it's just using each other, really. And then in addition to this, obviously practice, but we've now introduced something called the Grid Olympics. So after school, we will, TAs will sit down and we will give them some words that they need to find. And I'll show you one of the pictures. So on the left, you can see this afternoon, we paired team members up, some that were confident and some that weren't, and we gave them a list of really obscure words. Well, we started nicely and we gave them words such as like garb and push that are fairly easy to find, and then we got more complex. We ended up on like yo sushi, in between. So really get into some complex folders, and it's great. And I think it just kind of makes everyone a bit more excited about it, and it's just fun. We're very lucky in that we've had a really consistent team who've been with us for quite a while. Touch wood, that continues because they're fabulous. And staff training can obviously, we've had, the initial training was 3 years ago now when we received the first grid training from CENMAC. So it's just about keeping it going, keeping it exciting, little and often. And the Grid Olympics have really helped with that. And as you can see on the right, that is a member of staff who is very excited about winning. So it's just a fun little way to kind of keep it going. And then strategies. So it's lovely when you get a device and you really want the children to use it, but getting there is a whole nother thing. So our first things first is always have fun. That's kind of our motto in Greenland. The children need to have fun and feel safe at school, and then the learning will come. It comes along the way. It goes hand in hand. So have fun, be silly. We often say to staff, if you're being silly and you feel ridiculous, you are on the right track, and the communication will come, because the children are motivated by you because you're silly and sometimes ridiculous. And you often, if you come into Greenland, if my head teacher is showing people around, we are often doing something silly and ridiculous because it just leads to some fabulous interactions. And alongside that, so it needs to be child-led. We have to follow the children's motivation. If we're doing a messy activity to a child that finds messy activities really stressful, and they don't like being touched with like messy play or water, then it's not going to work for them. So you really need to follow what they like, and it needs to be personalised. Alongside that is staff commenting and modelling. If children are using a communication device, it's just about staff using them alongside, with no expectation on the child to use them. So if a child's jumping up and down, you could say, "Oh, Johnny, you're jumping," just to model. I mean, you don't stop modelling, and you do the same physical thing as well. Get involved with what they're doing. Sometimes you might feel ridiculous, but it's just leading up to that really early interaction. And following on from this is show me. So sometimes, even if a child's got a high-tech AAC device, you're not going to know exactly, they're not going to know the button that they need, and you might not know what they want. So I often say to the children, show me. And then when they take you, wherever they go in or to what toy they want, or they eventually find it, then you model to them what that is. So they then hopefully retain that, and then next time they know. But I think that's really, you can lead to, that can lead, if you don't know, it can lead to quite a lot of frustration and behaviour. Or if you just let them take them along the journey with you, then you'll reduce that and you'll increase that communication. And finally, we've got our core road curriculum, as I mentioned earlier, the core board that I showed you. So every afternoon, every week, we will have an overarching word, and then every afternoon we'll do, the first day we introduce the word, second day we'll have a song about that word. So the first word on the core board is go, and then that week we will work on all of the children with the word go. That will be signing, that will be low-tech AAC and high-tech AAC, to increase that communication across the whole art. And we have that up in our corridor, so if visitors come in, they know, every member of staff knows, and we're really trying to build their vocabulary, regardless whether it's verbal or through a communication aid. And then here's some pictures. The most important thing is that it's all available at once, so it needs to be a communication rich environment. So we've got every type of AAC, high tech or low tech, available, and basically you want it to be unavoidable. You want the children, it needs to be, and that's why we led up to the folders, because it needs to be available all of the time to get them to use it and to get them to understand that it's an aid, it's there to help them. And so as you can see up here, this is a display one of my TAs made, and this is up all of the time. It stays in the exact same position, so it's very consistent. They can rely on it. This pupil here has a high-tech AAC device, but in this scenario, this was in front of him, this was available first, so he communicated through this. I'm going to move on because I'm running out of time. So the impact. So most of the children now recognise AAC as a tool. Like I said, they understand that it's something beneficial, and they understand that the adults will understand them more, and it's increased their communication interaction between the staff and pupils as well. So they're not just communicating with us, but we're communicating with them more because we've got the aids to help us. And as I said earlier, we've got expanding receptive and expressive vocabulary. That is through AAC, and that is through verbally as well. And then the impact of the group modelling has been incredible. So as I said, we've realised that some children can access a high-tech AAC that we didn't expect to. So that group modelling just gives them all the opportunity to access it. And then alongside this is decreased levels of frustration. So just being able to communicate, I'm sure everybody knows, if you can communicate what you want, that level of frustration is just decreasing. Obviously, we do, when we're teaching the children to use AAC, we always give them what they ask for, because we're trying to teach them that they need to communicate for a reason. They need to want to do it. But eventually you do have to start saying no, which can increase some frustration. But again, that's just something you work on separately. And then alongside that is increased levels of autonomy. And the children are all they know that we kind of lean into, as I said earlier, being silly. They've all got their own preferences and their likes and dislikes, and we honour all of those. We've got lots of different preferences in Greenland. So the success stories, I'll quickly do them. I might pause them because we're running out of time. Good job. Right, what can we see? What's this one?
Blackbird.
Good job, high five. Black. So that pupil there is actually bird watching, and that isn't a hobby that I knew that she had before receiving her high-tech AAC device. I knew that she always used to look out of the window, but I didn't. She knew the names of the birds, and that I couldn't believe it. And then this is another pupil who he's yet to be assessed, but this is one of our modelling devices that he's using.
Crash.
Good boy, ready? So I need to actions doing. At first I need to build. As I said, I'm going to move on because I know I'm running out of time. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to skip one. It's also good, but okay. So the challenges that we've faced. So staff and parent confidence has been a real challenge. It's just something that as I said, you have to get used to. Using the devices more kind of helps with that. And some of our children don't use their devices at home. I think they almost see it as homework. I don't know. It's something that we'll continue to work on, but it just sometimes is a barrier. I think they get home from school and we tired them out so much that they don't even want to communicate. But that is, again, something we'll work on. And then similar to that is they not understanding that they're not going to watch YouTube on their AAC device. That at first is a barrier than something that we work on, but we use the kind of app lock to avoid that. So they quickly realise that they can't go onto YouTube. And unforeseen events, so balancing exploration and focused work. So sometimes our children will like to explore their talkers, and that's absolutely fine. But then we also have to kind of give them that time and then go on to focus work. And I'm living on extra time here, but I'll whiz through it. And then scripting, we didn't realise that scripting is something the children would do on a high-tech AAC, but one of our children does, and actually, again, that's okay. It's just something we didn't realise that would happen. And then the last thing was my own kind of mindset. At first, when you look at grid, it looks overwhelming, especially as a teacher. You're taught not to overwhelm children, not to increase any cognitive overload, and looking at that screen can be quite a lot, but the children have proved me wrong. And then our final thing, so the future, we're hoping that all the children will learn that AAC is an assistive tool. We're on our way there, but we want them to all to view it as an assistive tool. And then we want mirrored use at home and at school. As I said, some of the children don't do that yet. And then we also want to work on whole group use and modelling. So just really embedding it within our curriculum and doing it cross curricular. But yeah, and that is it. Thank you all for listening. That's my information if you want to take it. We're always willing to have visitors. You can email. Sorry, I know I've spoken very fast. But yeah, I'll stop sharing. If there's any questions, I hope you can see me. There we go. Yeah, any questions, let me know. If not, thank you.
Thank you so much, Faye. Yeah,
That's okay.
It's just wonderful the second time round for me.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So I'm just aware of time.
Yeah.
So thank you for attending. And Faye's, is available if you want to contact her directly. So yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye now.
If you don't have any questions, I'll wait for a minute if you have questions. Thank you. Who said that? Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you, Faye.
No worries, thank you.
That was brilliant. Thanks.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.